Today is September 6th. It's the 250th day of the year, and this is the On This Day podcast. 4 minutes past midnight on this day in 1972, the leader of Black September, a Palestinian terrorist group, aims his Kalashnikov assault rifle and fires into the helicopter holding 4 of his hostages. 3 are killed instantly. A pin is pulled and a grenade is tossed into the cockpit, exploding and incinerating the bodies. Running across the tarmac, the terrorist fires on the German police, who returned fire, killing him. Police gun down another terrorist, while a third terrorist sprays bullets into the second helicopter, killing the 5 remaining hostages. A German police officer is killed in the gunfight as well. 3 surviving terrorists are captured, and by 1:30 a.m., the battle is over. The world will come to know it as the Munich Massacre. In the pre-dawn hours the day before, 8 members of the terrorist group Black September sneak into the Olympic Village at the 1972 Summer Olympic Games in Munich, Germany. The Black September members slip into an apartment building housing members of the Israeli delegation. Several Israeli athletes manage to escape, but 2 are killed in the early stages of the attack, and 9 others are held hostage. The Israeli team is housed in a more isolated part of the Olympic Village, close to a gate. The head of the Israeli delegation had felt that their location made them vulnerable. Armed personnel are absent from the Olympic Village. The West Germans assure the Israelis that security will be provided for their team. In fact, Olympic organizers are reluctant to provide heavy security. Sensitive to the connection with the 1936 Olympics under the Nazi regime, West Germany wants the Munich Games to show a new side of Germany to the world, one that is more democratic and optimistic. The game's official motto is Die heiteren Spiel, or the cheerful games. While the hostages sit bound to each other in their apartment, wondering if they will live, the games carry on as normal. Most athletes seem oblivious about the attack. It takes the International Olympic Committee 12 hours before bowing to pressure and suspending the games. Once the incident is over 24 hours later, the IOC president declares that, quote, "The games must go on." A memorial ceremony is held for the murdered Israeli athletes, and the games resume. West Germany holds the 3 surviving terrorists in a Munich prison, but not for long. Lufthansa Flight 615 is hijacked at the end of October that year. The hijackers demand the release of the 3 members of Black September held by the Germans. And West Germany complies. In response, Israel authorizes a secret Mossad operation to track down and kill those responsible for the Munich Massacre, which ends at 1:30 a.m. on the tarmac of the NATO airbase Fürstenfeldbruck on the outskirts of Munich, on this day in 1972. For whatever reason, the Secret Service does not enforce the usual rule on this day in 1901. When approaching the president, keep your hands open and empty. The room is hot, and men are wiping their brows with handkerchiefs. President William McKinley notices the next gentleman he's about to greet has his hand wrapped in one. He must be injured. McKinley considerately reaches for the man's other hand. Their hands touch at 4:07 p.m. on this day in 1901. And just then, 2 bullets are fired into the president's abdomen. McKinley staggers forward. An anarchist, Czolgosz, attempts to shoot him a third time, but he's tackled to the floor. Czolgosz is unemployed, steeping in the economic and social turmoil that has been brewing for the past 8 years. He drifts away from the Polish Catholic Church, finding people who share his sentiments, first in moderate socialist clubs, then eventually in more radical ones. When he discovers anarchism, he's found his home. Injustice in American society makes him disgruntled. Inequality lets the wealthy enrich themselves at the expense of the working class and the poor. Czolgosz believes the structure of American government allows for this. He is inspired by the assassination of Italy's King Umberto I at the hands of an anarchist who kills the king, quote, for the sake of the common man. Czolgosz buys a gun and gets himself to Buffalo, New York. The 1901 Pan American Exposition is underway in Buffalo. Event coordinators have been advertising the numerous opportunities to see the president at the expo, including a 10-minute meet and greet at the Temple of Music. President McKinley does not like security to come between him and the public. He loves meeting people and he has no fear of assassins, saying, quote, "Why should I? No one would wish to hurt me." Seriously. His personal secretary, always concerned for the president's safety, removes the Temple of Music venue from the program twice. Each time, McKinley replaces it back into his schedule. Staggering backwards and to the right, the president is guided to a chair for support. He can see Czolgosz tackled and pummeled on the ground. McKinley orders the beating stopped. He assures his secretary that he's not seriously injured. McKinley is carried out on a stretcher to the horror of the gathering crowd. An electric-powered ambulance takes him to the Expo's hospital, arriving at 4:25 p.m. Though shot twice, one bullet has only hit a coat button and somehow lodged into the material. The second bullet cannot be located within his body. It's presumed to be stuck somewhere within his back muscles. The surgeon feels it would do more harm to search for it, so he closes the wound, and he does not allow for any drainage before covering the wound with a bandage. 8 days later at 2:15 a.m., President William McKinley, shot by the assassin Leon Czolgosz on this day in 1901, dies from gangrene. There are 116 days left in the year. On This Day is produced by me, Dave Schultz. Thank you very much for listening. Today's episode written by Elizabeth Schultz. Born on this day in 1930, Charles Foley, American game designer and co-creator of Twister. So if you're still listening, left hand yellow. Talk to you tomorrow.